Today is Friday the 29th of October, and this is the official kickoff of my rutcation. First thing, about 5 o'clock in the morning, we are heading out. We are heading to western part of Tennessee because we've never stepped foot on this public before. Just looked at it on a map, so it gives us a full day and a half to put some boots on the ground and figure out what we are doing. I will try my best to keep y'all updated throughout this 2-week adventure. I'm not the greatest at remembering to turn a camera on all the time, but we'll try to document the whole process and get y'all tagging along with me throughout all this. Hopefully we'll be successful. So I will see y'all in a little bit. Alright, me and Dummy there have made it to Tennessee. Oh heck, we was in Tennessee within 15 minutes leaving the house. We went to the other side of Tennessee. So, got to our little Airbnb, got everything unloaded, changed clothes. It ain't supposed to be raining, but it's nasty right now. And so we got us our clothes changed. We're gonna go do some scouting and glassing. Got my binoculars. Got a few hours before dark, so can we make it? Ain't for sure. Well, it's youth gun season. That's why we're having to wear hats. We can't hunt today or tomorrow. Tennessee shuts it down for adults, so that's why we got orange on. But right now we're trying to figure out if it's smart to take the old pick 'em up through this mud hole. We're going.
Well, I knew this place was going to be huge timber, a lot of monotonous big woods. So what I started with was huge creek bottoms. And when I say huge creek bottoms, I mean 200 yards across. And in my mind, I thought the deer would be bedded down in these creek bottoms, and then work the ridges around them. And what I call it is a holler head. I don't know what it's actually called, but when the creek bottom comes up into a ridge where it ends, there's usually bucks cruising to get from one side of the creek bottom to the other side of the creek bottom, and use the holler head to get from one side to the other instead of, ditching down into that creek bottom. So I started there. At the holler head, there was a finger ridge coming down into the creek bottom that had just a real subtle saddle in it, exactly where I figured a deer would walk. So this place was 2 miles. We had to basically crawl to get to it. But when we got to it, there's a scrape right in the middle of the saddle, a fresh rub, and a thicket that I didn't know was there. That was on top of the ridge. It just set up perfect.
Well, evening one of scouting is done.
Eye-opening,
to say the least. I think we're both a little intimidated right now. Didn't realize how big this place is. So, marked a lot of rubs, some bedding areas. We found a few doe bedding areas. So,
one buck bed.
Yeah, one buck bed. So we're gonna probably go get Jordan's laptop out and see if we can look at it on the big screen. First we gotta conquer these mud holes. Doing Mach 90.
Alright, my sunglasses. They do it on Ford commercials all the time.
So we've talked about this a lot. That got you in the right spot from the topo, as far as like we always say all the time, that got me in the right 50 yards radius. But it wasn't quite the right tree. So Ethan, what was going on the first setup, and why was the second setup different, and why did the second setup work, whereas the first setup was getting you busted?
So the forecasted wind was like a northeast. And so the plan was, with that wind, my scent would be dumping off in that creek bottom. And so the first tree I was in would have worked great for that, but it was really a super still, it was like 1 mile an hour wind. And so thermals were coming into effect way more than the actual wind was. So the first day that I sat there, I had several deer smell me because my thermals were dropping right on the ridge side of that ditch I was coming in on. So I think I had 4 or 5 different deer smell me right there. And so that evening, I pulled the set right at prime time and moved somewhere between 5 and 10 yards to a different tree. So my thermals would be actually dropping off into that bottom, and they weren't hitting the top of the ridge at all.
Day 2 of hunting here in Tennessee. I don't know what's going on with this camera. Focus, dang it. But I moved my set about 12 yards. So we're supposed to have about the same wind today. Thought is now that it's going to pull over their head. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully action picks up a little bit today. That is a stud, baby. Yes. Alright. I'm calmed down a little bit now. Thank gosh. I will give Jordan a shout out on this one. He picked this place out from Boone, North Carolina on a map. Dropped a point that he wanted to look at it, and he was within 100 yards of absolutely drilling it. He let me have this spot because it sets up perfect for a stick bow. He's hunting with a compound. So, thank you, Jordan. The walk in here is brutal, but I'm so excited to make this walk a few times today. So I will keep y'all updated the best I can. Love some rut hunting. I walked back to the truck, dumped about half my stuff, left my stand sticks in the tree, and met up with Jordan. He got down, met me at the truck. Hiked back in here. We got a pack and some bags. Pretty sure we got a dead buck laying over there. So we're going, half my air is laying right here. We're going to grab it, pick up the blood trail, and get phone calls. So I already went to my air as soon as I got down. Probably what do you think, 10 inches of penetration?
Yeah, 10 or 12.
So plenty enough to get the job done. There's blood right here at the where you dropped the air. So if you went this way, straight down through here.
Nice deer.
God, I love them chocolate horns. Yeah, we scouted, we put in around 12 miles Sunday, probably 5 on Saturday. Oh, give me a hug. Love you.
Love you too, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, we hopefully the excitement's done for the day. That's not usually what you're saying at 4:30 during the rut. Usually you're hoping the excitement's just getting ready to start, but it's been a doozy of a day. We started out on a real high note, kind of took a turn for the worse, but we're all stitched up and good to go.
So as I'm going through this footage, putting this video together, I'm like really excited, like, oh, this is great. This is good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. And then bam, it just stops. Like there's a video of you looking at this big old deer and like y'all hugging. I'm like, oh, this is great. And then it stops. So let's explain the sudden stop and why there's not epic B-roll of y'all walking out with this deer, doing all that stuff. What happened?
Well, it turns out that day 6 broadheads will still cut you after they've been through a deer. I know that my caping method it's wrong. I know that, I will admit it, but I'm super paranoid when I am caping a deer out. I don't like to mess up the hide whatsoever. So I have a weird, unorthodox way of doing it. And we were probably halfway through and I rammed my hand under the cape without thinking that I didn't get a complete pass through. And I found that broadhead with my finger. So it went from enjoying the moment, enjoying our time together, to full on rage and panic. Luckily, we already had all the meat off, so we cut the head off. Jordan was able to find a wet wipe and a zip tie that we were able to use as a tourniquet. And like he said earlier, we were 2 miles back, so it turned into an absolute rage and panic to get out of there. 7 stitches later, we're healing up nice. Jordan, on the other hand, still has a blown out knee.
I'm still in bad shape. Yeah. So I ended up grabbing the pack. He's on the verge of passing out. So I just grab the pack, throw it on, and take off like a bull through the woods. Step in a hole, and sprain or tear an ACL or something. I haven't been to the doctor yet, and I still can't walk. So it's been 3 weeks, and hoping that heals up soon.
Hey, on a serious note, though, man, on a serious note, you were about 3 inches away from a different story. So that's, man, you got to be careful with stuff like that. Y'all out there learn from their pain, because that's a bad situation. That's a really bad, or could have been a really bad situation, but it wasn't. I guess the Lord was looking after y'all for sure.
He was.
Absolutely.
I guess stuff like that just makes for a really good memory and a really good story around a campfire at some point. Although I'm sure you that's one story you probably would rather not tell or not even have to tell, right?
If I had my ruthers, I'd be looking at a full shoulder mount instead of a European mount.
Right.
And I'd be hunting a little further from the house if I could walk. So,
well, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video this time. If you like what you see, go down there and hit that subscribe button, that bell icon. You can check us out on Facebook or Instagram at the Stickboys. You can check out Jordan on F7 Outdoors. He's got a YouTube channel, some pretty cool stuff on it, and also Instagram and Facebook as well. So go check that out. And as always, go check out the podcast if you like this kind of thing. We're really big on woodsmanship, not really big on the whole gimmick thing, and a lot of stuff you see in the outdoor industry. We're kind of just rednecks that like to hunt a lot. So go check that out. We got some really cool stuff going on over there. You can find that anywhere podcasts are found. I mean, that's just the Stickboys. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully we can get back out and bring you some more action here shortly.